this, but whatever.
Where'd that come from?
I don't know. It was just sitting up here. I don't know. I don't need it.
Welcome, everybody. I'd like to call this Greenville County Council regular meeting to order. We will begin with the invocation. I will call on Councilor Collins.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Dear Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for everything you do for us, Lord. And we just ask that we do what we do gives you the glory. Lord, we thank you for saving us by your grace. Amen.
Amen. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. Seated. Next on the agenda, we have the approval of minutes.
Move approval of the minutes from November 4th.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Motion passes. Next up, we are at appearances on current agenda items. Ms. Stone.
Mr. Chairman, we have 3 speakers. The first is Diane Vreeland, and her topic is 9D, Philo Allocation Ordinance.
Welcome, Ms. Vreeland.
Hi. How are you all?
Good.
Okay, Diane Vreeland on behalf of Greenville County Republican Women, 413 Heather Falls Lane in Simpsonville. At the October 21st County Council meeting, I spoke about proposed ordinance entitled Fee in lieu of Tax Allocation that will allocate additional revenue collected by the county from payment of FILOs derived from designated multi-county industrial business parks located in Greenville County to the County Infrastructure Fund in order to fund road and related infrastructure projects. I did state that I liked your out-of-the-box approach to solving our road and infrastructure problems by not raising taxes, but I did raise some concerns. I would like to reiterate some of those concerns at this time. Please articulate the positive and negatives of this proposed ordinance so that the public fully understands the ripple effect this will have on other departments. More specifically, please name the programs and/or departments currently funded and state how each one will be affected monetarily when and if this ordinance is implemented. Sadly, it seems that if you decide to take FILO dollars that are currently given to some county departments and reallocate them to be used for roads and infrastructure, that decision will negatively impact those departments currently receiving funds. Conversely, if council does not take dollars from another area, I fear we are looking at our taxes being raised to cover the cost of road and infrastructure repairs. The reality is that the county has not kept up with our paving roads and upgrading our infrastructure to comply with the massive overdevelopment that was allowed to occur over the years, and now we're all going to suffer the impact of those poor decisions. I am asking that before the end of this meeting, either Benton, another council member, or Mr. Cannell shed some light on this very important matter. I'd like to hand a copy of my statement to the clerk so it's part of the public record, and I thank you. Hey, how are you?
Thank you very much, Ms. Vreeland. And I will go ahead and take the liberty to say that just to address that one specific part, if this answers your question, the way that this ordinance, the way that this reads is any funding that's currently going to any of those entities currently will not change at all. They still get it. It's only on future agreements. So we won't be taking money away from them that they're currently getting, if that answers some of that question. Kind of. All right. We can talk afterwards as well. All right. Ms. Stone?
Mr. Chairman, the next speaker is Daniel Rumfelt. His topic is 9D, Philo Allocation Ordinance.
Welcome, sir.
Thank y'all. Good evening. My name is Daniel Rumfeld. I don't believe enough people have been given the full picture of what this FELO proposal really means for our future. On the surface, keeping more FELO revenue to fund roads sounds simple, but the deeper impacts reach much further. This is a bad business decision that will affect South Greenville and the areas around it for years to come. Fire districts that depend on future FELOs to fund equipment and staffing will be forced to raise local taxes just to maintain public safety. For many smaller districts, that means cutting back on revenues, cutting back on services, and asking citizens to pay more. And while infrastructure is vital, so is public safety. Defunding fire districts to fix a pothole sends a wrong message. We can't improve roads by weakening the departments that protect those roads and the people who travel them. I also want to briefly remind everyone of Act 388 because it is directly tied to the impact of this proposal. Act 388 removes school operation taxes from the owner-occupied homes. As a result, Greenville County schools rely heavily on taxes from commercial and industrial properties to fund daily operations. Under this new FELO proposal, the school district's portion of industrial revenue would drop roughly 80% to the future. To put that in perspective, if an industrial site pays $100,000 in total taxes, the school district currently will receive $65,000. Under this proposal tonight, the distribution will only receive $13,000. This impact is real, and I do want to say I generally appreciate that several of you have changed your views on FELOs over the last year and now want to encourage their use for economic development. But reallocating their revenue away from fire districts and schools is not the answer. Incentives should grow the county, not destabilize it, the essential services that support it. In my own fire district, a FELO comparable to Vermeer would generate around $36,000 annually for the fire protection in nearby schools. Under the new plan, the same agreement would produce only $9,600, and that is a future hit of 73% cut in funding for emergency response and education. Now, I understand and appreciate the need to address the road conditions, everyone does, but the burden should not fall on fire districts and school districts that already have limited revenue options and enormous responsibilities. Council members, no one disagrees that our roads need to be improved, but we cannot fix roads at the expense of a very service that keep our communities safe, functioning, and thriving. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Mr. Rumfeld.
Mr. Chairman, if I may,
Councilor McGahee.
I'd just like to my colleagues, to remind everybody that this, and the public, that this is as these special tax districts, these fire districts and the school district, they will keep their current budget as it is, and then with all the FELO money they have moving forward. If we were to approve 0 FELOs this year, no one would get any tax money. So to say that we're decreasing their budget, it's a misnomer, because no one really knows how many FELOs or what kind of funding we're going to get. And even you can't base a budget off FELOs. All right. So the budgets, all these tax districts need to base their budgets off what their current funding, known current funding is. As we approve FELOs, then the money goes out, and then the budgets get adjusted for both the fire districts and for the schools. I'll also remind you, a lot of these special tax districts, they have their own taxing mechanism, as does the school board. The school board is an elected board that can raise taxes, and if you look on your tax bill, it's 68% of every dollar you pay in taxes goes to the county schools, which is great. Okay, I got 3 kids in public schools. That's awesome. A lot of it goes to the fire. Some of it goes to the library.
Councilor.
I'm not rebutting Mr. Tripp. I'm talking to my colleagues. I'm not debating, Mr. Chairman.
Here, I'm going to allow him
That's not a rule.
I'm going to allow him to wrap up and finish, basically, because I think part of what he might be addressing would be, Ms. Freeland did request even by my name, but for us to kind of answer some questions. So I will just ask.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks for coming tonight, Mr. Tripp, to harass me. I appreciate it. So what I'd like to tell everybody is just let's continue on then. And just, I'd like to speak with everybody afterwards. I'll come out and talk to you about it. I propose this ordinance. And as politicians, we have some hard decisions to make. And allowing the school board or anybody else to go ahead and just keep raising taxes, everyone, that's not an option for us, okay? As a county, we have hard decisions. I was elected to make hard decisions, and I will make a hard decision moving forward. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for allowing me to continue.
Thank you, Councilor McGahey. Ms. Stone?
Mr. Chairman, our last speaker is Amy McCord, and her topic is 12A2, the motion to request the Planning Commission reconsider Owens Glen.
Welcome, Ms. McCord.
Thank you. My name is Amy McCord, and I live at 380 Owens Road in Piedmont. Today, I'm here representing over 1,000 residents who have signed a petition opposing the Owens Glen subdivision. First, I want to thank all of you for listening to the community and for considering the motion to send the 2024 Owens Glen plan back to the Planning Commission. We appreciate Councilman Bradley's leadership, and we are grateful to see County Council taking this responsibility seriously. You are choosing to stand up for the integrity of the Planning Commission and for the safety of this community. Tonight is about more than the proposed Owens Glen subdivision. Tonight is about the purpose of County Council and the obligation to uphold the standards that protect the people you serve. Under the Planning Commission bylaws, the Commission may reconsider any review when requested by the governing body. County Council is that governing body. You do not need a specific reason to request reconsideration, but I would like to share several reasons why reconsideration is necessary in this case. We are here because the 2024 approval of Owens Glen was a mistake. It did not follow the South Carolina statutes, and it was not consistent with the Greenville County Comprehensive Plan or the Piedmont Area Plan. South Carolina Code 629-1120 lays out the purpose of the Planning Commission, and those purposes define the framework Council is expected to protect. They include encouraging economically sound and stable communities, assuring the timely provision of required streets and utilities, assuring safe and convenient traffic access, and assuring development that is wise, timely, and in harmony with the comprehensive plan. Owens Glen fails these standards across the board. The roads are too narrow and dangerous. There are no shoulders, blind curves, potholes, no safe width for traffic passing, and a traffic study that didn't account for the daily landfill trucks. Furthermore, the density is completely incompatible with the surrounding community. This is not a small oversight. This is a foundational failure. Today, I have again brought with me a petition with over 1,000 signatures. This is due to countless citizen hours spent learning what to ask, how to ask, and banding together in solidarity. The community has spoken clearly, consistently, and respectfully. Yet despite overwhelming opposition, despite petitions, emails, public comments, and 2 years of community engagement, the developer continues trying to push this project forward through private easements, procedural maneuvers, and attempts to label major changes as minor to avoid review. This is not responsible development. This is a developer defying the public interest and playing a messy game to wear down the county. Frankly, Greenville County should never have been put in a position where a developer could sue over a flawed approval. The Planning Commission is supposed to be a check and balance, not a rubber stamp for aggressive subdivision tactics. By requesting reconsideration, County Council is shining a light on underhanded tactics and demonstrating that the county will uphold the law, protect public safety, and ensure the growth that is responsible. Tonight, you have the opportunity to correct an improper approval. You have the opportunity to reaffirm the purpose and authority of the Planning Commission. You have the opportunity to stand with the residents of Piedmont and with the long-term future growth of Greenville County. We want growth, but we want smart growth. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McCord.
Messy notes, but I do have the petition.
All right. Next on the agenda, we have public hearings. We'll start with Piedmont Public Service District, Piedmont Fire Department, transfer of property. Councilor Collins.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Piedmont Public Service District, Piedmont Fire Department, transfer of property. This public hearing is being held for the purpose of receiving comments from the public regarding an ordinance to authorize the transfer of property, or approximately 15.8 acres of real property located off of Highway 20 in Greenville County to the Piedmont Public Service District, and to authorize the execution of deeds and any other documents and agreements related thereto. Madam Clerk, has anyone signed up to speak to this public hearing?
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Collins, we have no speakers for this public hearing.
There being no further speakers, I declare this public hearing closed.
Next on the agenda, we have item B, which is Anderson Greenville Multi-County Industrial Business Park Agreement Amendment, Advanced Metalworks LLC, formerly Project Visionary. Councilor Collins.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Anderson Greenville Multi-County Industrial Business Park Agreement Amendment, Project Visionary. This public hearing is being held for the purpose of receiving comments from the public regarding an ordinance to amend an agreement for the development of a joint county industrial and business park, 2010 park, of Greenville and Anderson counties, so as to enlarge the park to include certain property owned by a company known to Anderson County as Project Visionary. Madam Clerk, has anyone signed up to speak to this public hearing?
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Collins, we have no speakers for this public hearing.
There being no further speakers, I declare this hearing closed.
Thank you, Councilor Collins. Next on the agenda, we have the consent agenda.
I move approval of the consent agenda.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Next up, we have resolutions. A, Greater Greenville Sanitation District Annexation, Helen Drive Parcels, Piedmont, request for public hearing. Councilor McGahee.
I'd like to be very clear, this is not something I put forward, but as a chairman of RIPWA committee, I have to read this, so that's just want to be very clear about that moving forward. I move for adoption resolution to hold a public hearing to consider enlarging the Greater Greenville Sanitation District to include the Helen Drive parcels.
All right, thank you. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Probably need a
You have a
Roll
recorded
call.
vote?
call on that.
Also, this
request.
is the resolution to hold the public hearing, not to approve it.
Yes, this is simply a public,
hold a
we call
public
it a public hearing. It's a public hearing, not a vote to approve it, correct?
Do we still want a roll call?
Yeah, I think it's been requested.
I'm a yes, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Dr. Fant.
Mr. Chairman, we have 8 in favor and 4 in opposition.
All right, thank you. The motion passes. We will now move to ordinances at third reading, starting with A, Anderson Greenville Multi-County Industrial Business Park Agreement Amendment, South Carolina Farm Bureau Marketing Association, LLC, formerly Project Elevate. Councilor Collins.
Mr. Chair, Anderson Greenville Multi-County Industrial Business Park Agreement Amendment, South Carolina Farm Bureau Marketing Association, LLC, formerly Project Elevate. Mr. Chairman, the motion is that I move for the adoption at third reading an ordinance to amend an agreement for the development of a joint county industrial and business park, 2010 park of Anderson and Greenville counties, so as to enlarge the park.
Thank you. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Move to B, Anderson Greenville Multi-County Industrial Business Park Agreement Amendment, Covens Properties LLC, formerly Project Briarwood. Councilor Collins.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Anderson Greenville Multi-County Industrial Business Park Agreement Amendment, Covens Properties LLC, formerly Project Briarwood. Mr. Chairman, the motion that I move for adoption at the third reading an ordinance to amend an agreement for the development of a joint county industrial and business park, 2010 park, of Greenville and Anderson counties so as to enlarge the park to include certain property owned by Covens Properties LLC.
Thank you. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Move to C, Piedmont Public Service District, Piedmont Fire Department, transfer of property. Councilor Collins.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Piedmont Public Service District, Piedmont Fire Department, transfer of property. Mr. Chairman, the motion I move for the adoption at third reading an ordinance to authorize the transfer of approximately 15.8 acres of real property located off of Highway 20 in Greenville County to the Piedmont Public Service District, and to authorize the execution of deeds and any other documents and agreements related thereto.
Mr. Chairman, if I may real quick, just point out to the public and everybody else, in section 2 of this, there is a deed restriction that if the fire department cannot sell it, it does come back to the county. I just want to make that very clear to the public. We're not giving them land they can sell.
All right, thank you. Any other discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. We'll move to D, which is the fee in lieu of tax allocations ordinance. Councilor Bradley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move for adoption at third reading an ordinance to allot additional specified revenues collected by the county from the payment of fee in lieu of tax derived from designated multi-county industrial business parks located in Greenville County to the County Infrastructure Fund in order to fund roads and related infrastructure projects.
All right, the roll call has been requested.
Motion to hold.
There's already been a roll call requested, so is that motion still valid, or?
No, I think that would, his
Motion to hold prevails.
Okay. Everybody understand the motion?
On motion to hold, right?
Mm-hmm, yes, sir.
Well, is there argument or comment on this, or?
You can speak
Can
to
we
it
have some
if you like.
discussion?
Yep.
Yeah, it's too vague. There's words in there that are vague. I think it follows the general intention of what a lot of us want to do, which is to address roads. But to pass this at third reading, this vague is something, I think we should hold it and refine it somewhat. And also realize that we're working together with our partners here. I mean, if we just do this, and especially this vague, you know, a philo, I'd love it to all go to roads, but we've got other things to take care of besides just roads. So I just feel it's too vague. I can't vote yes or no on something that's vague.
All right, thank you, Counselor. Counselor Seaman?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was just going to say, I felt like Ms. Long did a good job at second reading, actually clearing up the vagueness of what the intent was. And, you know, appreciate the work that's been done to this point. I feel like we've talked about it a good bit, and the county has many competing interests. The community has many competing interests, but I think we've heard loud and clear, and especially for those of you new on the dais, I mean, I think you heard loud and clearly from your constituents that infrastructure was a problem and we needed to address it. And without a designated funding source of significant dollars, we're never going to move forward in that category. Thank you, Mr.
Well, I
Chairman.
will say that, thank you, Ms. Seaman. I will say that I filed last year a bill to put 10% of our budget into roads, and this feels like it was part of that thinking, at least, so I'm not putting roads aside. My question is, my thought is that, I mean, if the words aren't here and we vote on it, whatever we talked about prior to this doesn't matter. People are going to look at the four corners of what this says, and that's what we work with. We can't just say we're going to vote in words that are vague and things that are vague, and then tell people to go back and look at the minutes or something like that. That's not how this stuff works.
What in
Counsel-
particular you
Counselor Shaw,
find
can-
vague? I mean, maybe that would be helpful if you have a specific section that we could address.
Well, I don't want to hash it out now. I mean, if y'all going to vote a certain way, that's fine. I just feel I'm not comfortable voting on this right now. We could, I've heard some of the arguments before and some of the debates, but additional specified. I mean, what the heck are we talking about there? And you can say something, but if it's not on here on paper, I'm not going to.
Mr. Shaw, may I point
Be
out
assured.
that, may I
Let
point out?
let me ask Counselor Shaw a question. Is there anything, what specifically would need to be specified better for you to have a better understanding?
I don't think that's the point. The point is, if it's not on paper here, and I don't want to hash it out now. I'm not prepared to do that. I just going over this. I'm not prepared. If y'all are happy with this and prepared to vote it through, that's fine. I just don't see words that really give this enough meaning to really be meaningful. That's all.
Let me go to
I'm not going to argue this tonight.
Let me go to Vice Chairman Bradley.
In infrastructure, did we not have a meeting with staff? And we have a list of exactly where the money's going to be, exactly where the money's going to be spent, that tells, there's no question that the money's going, and here's where it's going, and it's on, I said in the meeting, I have a copy of every road in my district that's going to be paved, or a ditch cleaned out, or stormwater done. So to me, that's clear as you could possibly be if I have a list of where the money's going to be spent, and we all have access to that. So I don't know how much clearer you could be.
Yeah, and again, I thank you for that.
Counselor Shaw, I'll acknowledge you. Let me go to Counselor Tripp first.
Well, I wasn't, if I could, just please, Mr. Tripp. just one
Counselor
more
Shaw.
point, just to make.
Counselor Shaw,
it's
I'll go right back to
Yes, sir,
you.
but it's important that I put this point right now. I understand. The thrust.
Counselor Shaw.
No, sir.
We're going to follow procedure. You're not addressing the chair being requesting to speak.
Well, because
So I'm
the
going to
argument
Counselor
has been
Tripp.
allowed to go to something that is not the
Counselor
thrust
Shaw, I
of
will
my
come
objection.
right back to
The
you.
thrust of my objection,
Counselor Shaw, you're out of
again,
order.
was that we have other people that we've got to worry about. That is the thrust of it. That is not, that it's not just the uncertainty of the specification, but we have long-standing partnerships and teammates, which are other taxing agencies, that this is not hashed out enough.
I want to go ahead and address this now. I would love if all of my colleagues, and I know most do, would at least appreciate procedure and the way we're supposed to handle ourselves on the dais, and I would acknowledge you easily.
I appreciate that, but it's also important that we express clearly what we're trying to express without getting
Right,
cut off.
in the proper way, when you're acknowledged.
But when we get cut off like I did, then it's important for me to get out what the thrust of what I'm saying is, and that's all.
By breaking procedure. Counselor Tripp.
I just had a question for Mr. Bradley. You represent Southern Greenville County. Sorry. Question for Mr. Bradley, and I'm not trying to catch you off guard like my colleague accused me of, but you heard Mr. Rumsfeld talk earlier about the impact this is going to have on Southern Greenville County specifically. You represent that area. Are you sure you're comfortable adopting this language tonight? Are you sure you understand the ramifications of what this does to groups like fire districts in Southern Greenville County?
Yes, sir, I very well do.
Okay.
I've had lengthy conversations with the administrator. At this point, we don't know what the number, they can't give me a number because we don't know the number because it's future revenue.
Sure, absolutely.
I've also been told, in no way, no how, if we have issues, we will address them with our fire department, especially South Greenville, and we will address if they have a funding shortage. We will address it, and there are means to fix it.
So there's a possibility under this scenario they're going to face a shortfall.
Who knows?
Okay.
I can't be,
That's
but I've been
where
made
I'm
aware
getting
of
at.
if they are. If they happen to be, we can address it.
Anybody else?
Call the question.
All right, questions being called.
May I?
And,
No, you're very quick, very good. No, thank you, and I appreciate that. I'm sorry. I just try to look left to right, make sure no one's got their hand up before I inject. If I've done some extensive looking into this, and you're talking a FILO on the average of 30 years. Okay, so let's say this is 2023, anything forward, so go back 20 years. Okay, they're still getting a lot of revenue from the past 20 years, 15 years. That said, Act 388 for the school system, okay, if you remember when they added the sales tax from 5 cents to 6 cents, and your ad valorem tax is not used for operational costs at the school, well, guess what? That 1 cent raise that they put on your sales tax took place of that. It's the little peanut in the cups. They just slide it around, folks. The school is still getting that money that you do not pay anymore. You pay it, okay? So forgive me, but it's not much to do your homework. It's right there. You got to find it, but when you do, it just calls your name, okay? So that said, Act 388 took care of that. But at the other thing, look at the school. The school just did a TIF for $270 million. Do you think they're looking at a FILO? No. If they were, they would not have done that privately to improve what? Infrastructure for Verde, for the developers. Are you kidding me? And this body approved that. That's the one you should be pointing your fingers at. Those that sat here and approved and allowed that school district to spend your $270 million, turn around, raise your taxes 6%, got an assessment year this year, and raised you 8%. And you're worried about the school district and a FILO? I tell you what, change that board.
Mr. Chairman.
That's
Counselor
my
Tripp.
comment.
Oh, thank you, Counselor Coggins.
I'm not disagreeing with you on the school board, but no one's talking about the school board. We're talking about the fire districts. And that's, you know, when your house is on fire, you know, that's a whole different issue. And if our fire departments, our volunteer fire departments have a funding crisis because we are taking future dollars away from their ability to grow and I mean, growth is happening in these areas. Do you think they can just sit back and rely on past revenues? They've got to grow their source of revenue just like you're trying to grow your source of revenue. And I do not think that this body has thought candidly and wisely enough about the impact that this is going to have on groups like the fire department. So you win the fight on the, you know, I think the school board is, you know, has been reckless when it comes to raising taxes. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the fire department.
If I may, real quick, yeah, and I agree with that. And I'm totally enthused with his perspective. But at the same time, ask Owens Glen about the growth, okay? They're here fighting for that. So if we're going to fight for that to assist our fire departments, and then we want to ignore Owens Glen? Now, I'm saying we're not going to do an action on that, but it's not just a school, but this philo money, as my colleague stated, if it comes to a point where, hey, we're in a shape that is not desirable, it can be revisited. Correct. That money, it has a string attached to it. If we have it, then it come back to you. We're going to come back to you, okay? But our roads from this body, 15 years has been neglected with the instant growth, and now the degradation of your infrastructure has caught you and passed you in development. That's what I'm saying. And I think it's feasible, it's plausible. As the representative for the fire chiefs of this county, and I go to most of them, and I've been to 17 different fire districts to date on my time, that's one thing with the law enforcement that I will fight for. And if needed, we can do what we have to do. That's all I have to say.
Mr. Chairman, one final question to the administrator, please.
Councilor Tripp.
Mr. Administrator, how long, and I'm sorry to catch you off guard, but this is your job, so. How long have we been doing philos in Greenville County? Approximately, within a decade or two.
I would say probably 30 years.
Okay. I mean, we've been able to develop a pretty decent forecasting of the revenue derived from philos, correct? Has anybody done any forward-looking forecasting of those dollars?
Yes, we have. And,
So, okay.
Well, and it's based on, there's ebbs and flows.
Sure.
The economy, that's what
Sure.
it's based on. And so, going forward right now, what we're talking about with this ordinance, there's about 16 that will come on board fairly quickly. Since 2023 that haven't been on the books yet. Right now, that can generate immediately about $8 million. It looks like it'll grow to about $25 million in the next year and a half. We would be close to what we need, quite frankly. So what the intention is to monitor it very closely. And we have budget numbers out there, as we talked about, to try to get the road number up in the mid-30s, upper 30s. Once that hits, I'm going to be back in front of you saying, okay, we can drop it back down. And, or if it impacts the fire districts that we've had discussions with many of you about, we can make adjustments for that. The problem we have right now is forecasting it out if it doesn't come through, because some philos you've approved will not ever happen. It's just the way it works. We're not trying to take money out of people's pockets, and after we had the first go around with this during budget time, and you raised a lot of valid concerns, we went back and talked with a lot of the parties, met with the school board and representatives, and retooled this thing so that it would not have an immediate impact on anybody, is what the goal was. Hopefully this will solve that and capture the funds, additional funds that we need, but then not take anything additional.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, real quick, I'd just like to remind my colleagues, Greenville County has neglected its infrastructure for 40-plus years, and it's time to make the hard decision.
All right, thank you.
If I may finish up one more, Chair.
Councilor
Sorry.
Collins.
Yes, sir. But we're averaging maybe 8 to 11 philos a year for the last couple of years on the average. And, you know, so that fluctuates, but to date, we have 213-ish for Greenville County, and that's recorded through the Department of Revenue down the state.
Mr. Chairman, I did have. Going back to my original thought, back the day when I filed the 10% of the budget, which would have been, what, 40-some million dollars on roads, I heard all along that our first priority is roads. We collect taxes every year. My idea was why in our budget we have not been able to have the hard choices and the discipline to put 10% to the roads. Instead, we're talking about these philos doing that for us. And that's the point. We don't have the fiscal hard choices to give ourselves 10% to spend on roads, just 10%. Instead, we are going by this philo addiction that we're addicted to.
Thank you, Councilor Shaw. And I believe I think Councilor Fant, Dr. Fant may want to speak if I'm correct.
I'm good, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Yes, sir. I'm good, thank you.
Didn't want to leave you out. All right, so anybody else before we discuss the motion to hold, which is the current motion that's made?
Roll call.
Roll call's been requested,
The motion to hold, right?
and this is to hold.
I'm a no, Mr. Chairman.
Dr. Fant is a no.
Mr. Chairman, we have 2 in favor, 10 opposed.
All right, so the motion fails, which brings us back to Councilor Tripp's roll call request for the motion to approve the fee in lieu of tax allocations ordinance.
I'm a yes, Mr. Chairman.
Dr. Fant is a yes on this
Roll
one.
call vote on the ordinance.
Mr. Chairman, we have 9 in favor, 3 opposed.
Thank you. The motion passes. We will move now to ordinances at second reading. We'll begin with CZ 2025-060. Councilor Bradley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Property located on West Blue Ridge Drive, Aladdin Street and Evergreen Street, requesting rezoning from C1 and R-7.5 to RM10. The Planning Commission and the committee recommended denial. On behalf of the committee, I move to deny this ordinance at second reading.
Thank you. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. CZ 2025-063.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Property located at 140 Chapel Road, requesting rezoning from I-1 to C2. The Planning Commission recommended denial, and the committee recommended approval as amended to S1. On behalf of the committee, I move to approval of this ordinance at second reading, but I have a amendment.
State your amendment.
I move to amend the ordinance to S1.
All right, everybody understand the amendment? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? The ayes have it. All in favor of the motion as amended, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
The ayes have it. CZ 2025-068, Councilor Bradley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Properly located at 3809 White Horse Road, requesting rezoning from S1 to C1. The Planning Commission and Committee recommended approval. On behalf of the committee, I move to approval of this ordinance at second reading.
Thank you. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. CZ 2025-069, Councilor Bradley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Property located at 1940 Oak Grove Road and 393 Grove Reserve Parkway, requesting rezoning from I-2 to I-1. The Planning Commission and the committee recommended approval. On behalf of the committee, I move approval of this ordinance at second reading.
Thank you. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. And we have CZ 2025-070.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Property located at 21 Woodside Avenue, requesting rezoning from R10 to R6. The Planning Commission and Committee recommended approval. On behalf of the committee, I move approval of this ordinance at second reading.
Thank you. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Move to item B, which is Greenville County Zoning Text Amendment Mobile Food Unit, CZ 2025-066. Councilor Bradley.
Again, thank you, Mr. Chairman. On behalf of the committee, I move for approval at second reading of ordinance to amend the Greenville County zoning ordinance to amend Article 4 definition, Article 6, Table 6.1, use permitted, use by special exemption and conditional uses, and Section 6.2. Use conditions. The Planning Commission and Committee recommended approval.
Thank you. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Move to C, sign ordinance amendment. Councilor Bradley.
I thought I was done. On behalf of the committee, I move for approval at second reading of ordinance to amend ordinance number 4926, the Greenville sign ordinance, to change the definition of on-premises signs.
Thank you. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Final one for second reading, Greenville Anderson Multi-County Industrial Business Park Agreement Amendment, Advanced Metalworks LLC, formerly Project Visionary. Councilor Collins.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Anderson Greenville Multi-County Industrial Business Park Agreement Amendment, Advanced Metalwork LLC, formerly Project Visionary. Mr. Chairman, the motion I move for approval at the second reading, an ordinance to amend an agreement to the development of a joint county industrial business park, 2010 Park of Greenville, Anderson counties, so as to enlarge the park to include certain property owned by Advanced Metalworks LLC.
Thank you. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. We'll move to ordinances at first reading. Councilor Bradley.
I present for first reading zoning docket CZ-2025-071 and CZ-2025-73.
Thank you. We'll refer those to the Planning and Development Committee. We'll move to B, Anderson Greenville County Multi-County Industrial and Business Park Agreement Amendment, Project Pierce. Councilor Collins.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Anderson Greenville Multi-County Industrial Business Park Agreement Amendment, Project Pierce. I present for first reading an ordinance to amend an agreement for the development of a joint county industrial and business park, 2010 Park of Anderson and Greenville counties, so as to enlarge the park, Project Pierce.
Thank you, and that will stay on the council floor. C, Lawrence Greenville Multi-County Industrial and Business Park Agreement Amendment, Project Wolf. Councilor Collins.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Lawrence Greenville Multi-County Industrial Business Park Agreement Amendment, Project Wolf. I present for first reading an ordinance to amend the master agreement governing the Octagon Industrial Park between Lawrence and Greenville counties so as to enlarge the park to add certain parcel in Lawrence County, Project Wolf.
Thank you. That will stay on the council floor as well. D, Anderson Greenville Multi-County Industrial and Business Park Agreement Amendment, Project INA. Councilor Collins.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Anderson Greenville Multi-County Industrial Business Park Agreement Amendment, Project INA. I present for first reading an ordinance to amend an agreement for the development of a joint county industrial and business park, 2010 park of Anderson and Greenville counties so as to enlarge the park, Project INA.
Thank you. That will stay on the council floor. E, Anderson Greenville Multi-County Industrial and Business Park Agreement Amendment, Project Silver. Councilor Collins.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Anderson Greenville Multi-County Industrial Business Park Agreement Amendment, Project Silver. I present for the first reading an ordinance to amend an agreement for the development of a joint county industrial and business park, 2010 park of Anderson and Greenville counties so as to enlarge the park, Project Silver.
Thank you. That will also stay on the council floor. And we have EPC Power Corporation Amendment to existing fee in lieu of tax agreement. Councilor Collins.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. EPC Power Corporation Amendment to existing fee in lieu of tax agreement. I present for the first reading an ordinance to authorize the approve the execution and delivery of the First Amendment to an existing fee in lieu of tax agreement between Greenville County, South Carolina, and EPC Power Corporation, providing for certain modifications thereto with respect to certain property now or to be hereafter located in Greenville County.
Thank you. That will also stay on the council floor. We will now move to agenda item 12, committee reports. We'll start with board and commission appointments. Councilor Bradley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On behalf of the committee, I'll move for the following. Keith Williams for the Greater Greenville Sanitation District. And for the Sterling Community Special Tax District, we have 5, Vicki Ashley, Nick Campbell, Jack Conley, Craig Evans, and Dorothy Russell. And we have 1 vacancy on the tribe upstate. It's Deborah Pickens.
Thank you. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Move to the next, which is motion to request the Planning Commission to reconsider Owens Glen. Councilor Bradley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On behalf of the committee, I move to request the Planning Commission reconsider its approval of a primary plan of variances of PP-2024-109 and VAR 2024-105, Owens Glen.
Thank you. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Mr. Chairman, if I may just real quick.
Councilor McGahey.
Committee report for RIPWA. I'd just like to give the public information that this year we've put over for the next budget $34 million into roads, and that brief was given to us on November 4th. And I'd just like to let everybody know what's out there. And I think the county's got a real commitment to helping fix infrastructure, and it's a great start. And if you have any questions about it, please check it out online. And if not, contact me and I'll help you walk through it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. We will now move to public comments. Looks like we have 4 speakers, so I will turn it over to Ms. Stone.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, the first speaker is Ed Paxton, and his topic is county property, upcoming public hearing.
Welcome, Mr. Paxton.
Thank you. 35 or 40 years ago, there's quite an argument going on around here in county council having to do with the question of recreation and is it a function of government. The East Siders here in our county won that argument, and we've been paying for that, losing that argument ever since. Across Pine Creek Drive is a 3 or 4 acre tract that once was a community recreation center. And over the years, it's been taken into Greenville County's land inventory, and it's now the subject of rezoning or zoning or whatever, of the Planning Commission. Land is shown to be owned by the county. And a petition is in hand to cut a drive into that property. The track is across the road from the St. John's United Methodist Church, and when it was mentioned to be available a few years ago, St. John's sought to acquire the property as a track for a parking lot, and the subject died. Now it's raised its head again. And for the last week, I've been trying to pry out of the zoning details of that doings. And that bunch of juvenile delinquents won't talk to me. And I think we got a right to be at the table. I'm here to say it's time for the county to take a hard look at them juvenile delinquents over in the South Tower. Why I ask the clandestine behavior associated with that department. Seems to me these juveniles have sold their souls to developers. And we the people who since 1960 have built this county are victims of zoning and development's misbehavior. And I don't see a need for this craziness and secrecy. I'd like for you people to take a look at that dog and pony show over there in the South Tower.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Paxton.
Mr. Chairman, the next speaker is Jani Santos, and the topic is building code.
Welcome, Ms. Santos, and I am going to go ahead and say this, hopefully I won't embarrass her too bad, but she has been preparing to come and speak and has went through a great deal to make sure she knew where to come to, so I'm glad that she's made it tonight, and welcome, and here's your 3 minutes.
Good evening, Chair and members of the council. My name is Jani Santos. I'm a resident of District 19. I've lived here for 18 years now. I'm also a mother, a combat veteran, and a homeowner who has experienced firsthand how gaps in our permitting, inspection, and licensing systems leave families unprotected. In 2017, I contracted with a large national retailer for a roof replacement on my home. The roof was installed before the permit was issued, and the subcontractors performing the work were not licensed or registered in the state of South Carolina. The installation violated multiple sections of the South Carolina Residential Builders Code, including requirements for proper flashing, substrate, and roof pitch. Because of those failures, my home has suffered severe water intrusion, mold growth, electrical hazards, and structural damage. Despite documented reports from licensed inspectors confirming code violations, my filed complaint through South Carolina Licensing, Labor, and Regulation was dismissed as a contractual issue. No corrections were required or enforcement, and the work remains out of compliance today. What I've learned through this process is that my case is not an isolated one. Greenville County residents are vulnerable because inspections are often drive-by approvals, no verification of the substrate or slope requirements, roofs with architectural shingles on flat-pitched roofs. They're being approved even though the manufacturers prohibit it, and it invalidates the shingle warranties. Permits are closed as completed, and then homes are reassessed for higher property taxes, even when the work is defective. Families are paying the price in unsafe homes, health risks, and financial loss. In cases like mine, the time the damage becomes visible, the statute of limitations has expired, leaving homeowners with no legal recourse, even though the violations still exist. I respectfully ask the council to consider the following actions. Require inspectors to document compliance with code and manufacturing standards, including substrate and slope verification, prohibit approval of shingle installations on flat or low-slope roofs, delay property tax reassessments until work is verified and is code compliant, coordinate with state lawmakers to close licensing loopholes, and pause or toll the statute of limitations while uncorrected violations remain. Greenville County is growing rapidly, and residents deserve confidence that the county-approved inspection truly means their home is safe. I love my home, my community, and my goal is not only to protect my family, but to help ensure that every family in Greenville County is protected by the systems meant to safeguard us. Thank you for your time, for listening, and your service to our community.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, the next speaker is Jeffrey Lawson, and his topic is performance evaluation.
Welcome, Mr. Lawson.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Jeffrey G. Lawson. I reside at 20 Crescent Avenue, Greenville, South Carolina. I've been a resident of Greenville County since July 4th, 1979. I am a retired rheumatologist and established the first rheumatology practice in Greenville County at Piedmont Arthritis Clinic. I've always been focused on community and was president of the Greenville Savyards, a Gilbert and Sullivan Company, president of Roper Mountain Science Center, president of the River Place Festival, the precursor of Artisphere, president of the Greenville High School Booster Club for 6 years, co-chairman of Serene 2000 that raised $1.7 million to renovate Serene's Stadium, president of the St. Francis Medical Staff, president of the Greenville County Medical Society, and was named Volunteer Physician of the Year by the South Carolina Medical Association in 1995. I'm here tonight to thank the 8 counselors of the Greenville County Council for their positive emails for my observations about evaluating the procedure of the administration of the county. I've discussed with some members of the county the possibility of establishing an ad hoc committee to use the $250,000 in the budget initially in-house to evaluate my suggestions to bring the administration of the county into the 21st century with AI to fill out permits, zoning, coding examinations, and adopt a work-from-home options for employees, all in an effort to reduce overtime and improve performance. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lawson.
Mr. Chairman, our last speaker is Diane Vreeland, and her topic is the county administrator's contract.
Welcome, Ms. Vreeland.
Hi again.
Hello.
Diane Vreeland on behalf of Greenville County Republican Women, 413 Heather Falls Lane, Simpsonville. I have asked in the past the status of Joe Cornell's contract and was told that he must make his intentions known to council by October 20th, 2025, which is 3 months prior to the end of his contract. Said contract ends January 20th, 2026. Therefore, I'm asking council what the current status is. Has Mr. Cornell stated a desire to stay or to retire? Depending on that answer, there are more questions to be asked. If Mr. Cornell is retiring, have you started a search for a new business administrator, and are you looking to hire from within or do a nationwide search? If Mr. Cornell wishes to stay, is it via an extension on his current contract, or will there be an entirely new contract negotiated and written? As a follow-up to my previous question, are a majority of council members in favor of keeping Mr. Cornell on as our business administrator if he decides wants to stay? And if so, are you leaning long-term or short-term? When will council advise the public as to what Mr. Cornell's intentions are, as well as what direction council is planning on taking regarding the most important position in our county government? I'm asking council for answers and transparency regarding this situation. And I'll apologize in advance if I've got any of the dates wrong, but I believe I have them right. I'd like to hand a copy of my statement to the clerk so it's part of the public record, and I thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Freeland. We will now move to administrator's report.
Mr. Chairman, members of council, I've got a couple things this evening. The first is we had our second Citizens Academy finishing up today, our little graduation. A couple of you were there today. We appreciate that. We had lunch and we got a lot of feedback. It was very, very positive feedback. I think we did a good job letting people know what the county does. And, you know, we look forward to putting together the next program in the upcoming year. Probably first part of the year, you'll be getting correspondence from us to give us some nominees who you want on there so that we can get started with our third class. And hopefully we won't have too many wanting to repeat it because they did have a good time and we had a good time with them. So went very, very well. I also want to alert you to that we are very pleased to announce that the Spartanburg County Pet Resource Center is on schedule and will be fully operational in January. This means that Greenville County will no longer be receiving Spartanburg County animals at our animal care facility beginning February 1st, 2026. We are proud to have been able to help our neighboring county for so many years, but we are eager to move forward with this new chapter. It accounts for about 30% of our intake, so that should help tremendously. This will allow us to enhance and improve on our existing services to the citizens of Greenville County. I do appreciate Heisha and her staff for being able to accommodate Spartanburg. As those of you that have been around a while, you saw the importance of it many, many years ago, and it's coming to an end finally now. I also want to report to you, everybody should have gotten their tax bill in the last, probably in the last week and a half. We've identified a couple of printer errors on those bills, and while most people probably haven't even noticed them, it's to do with the date range for the penalties, where it inaccurately put in starting January 16, 2025 through February 1st, 2026. It should be obviously January 16th, 2026 through February. So we are and the other thing that it did neglect to put on there is the amount of taxes that were paid in the prior year. While these may not seem like a big deal, which they're not when it comes right down to it, you know, the penalties and all that, if you don't pay it on time or calculate it based on the correct timing, we feel like it'd be best to issue corrected tax bills. The taxes aren't changing. This is just for these little things that I've noted there. But what we intend to do is parse out the bills that have already been paid. There's no need to send a new bill there. The number of bills that went to mortgage companies, because those are actually all done electronically, and they pay them on time. So it's going to be a very small subset, we believe, when we get these out in the next week and a half, and get them corrected on getting these 2 items or 3 items corrected. You also probably have gotten a few calls where people have mailed in their bill that goes to TD Bank's lockbox in Columbia. Well, apparently, I guess when it rains, it snows. The post office has been returning some of those payments. It has nothing to do with the county. We verified the address and everything with TD Bank prior to the printing of the bills. Apparently, it's something to do with a department number that they had on the bills in prior years, and they no longer require that. So TD Bank has assured us they are working with the Postal Service to get that corrected. You know, it's obviously it's a issue in the software. Once that is put in, then every bill that is mailed to them and scanned will be rejected. So they're working to get that corrected immediately. Of course, if anybody has paid that way and had a return and they don't get it back right away, just bring us the envelope or mail us the envelope. We'll make sure there'll be no penalties or anything like that, that you've paid it timely. So just want to alert you to this. You may get some calls from constituents, but we'll do our best to get the message out and, you know, make sure they know. But like I said, the numbers on the bills, they don't change, so.
All right. Thank you very much.
I did have a question, Mr. Chairman.
Councilor Shaw?
Mr. Administrator, the
there's a staff member, he grimaces every time he sees me, and I think he's the Public Relations Department. Is there a strategy when stuff like this happens for that department to get the word out to the public?
Absolutely, yes. It'll be put on social media, it'll be put on the county's website. He alerts the press and has conversations with the press and lets everybody know. I thought you were referring to me grimacing every time I see you.
You look like you're smiling from here, but it's probably a grimace.
All right. Next on, Councilor Mitchell.
Mr. Administrator, thank you for your report, and I'd also like to thank you for putting the drop box back in place so that all the citizens can drive through and drop their tax bills off with no problem. I've gotten a lot of complaints when that box was not there, so thank you so much for putting it back.
Might as well throw in the handicap spaces with it while you're at it. But, all right, we'll move to requests and motions by council members. If there's anything anybody would like to share. I would like to take the time to kind of echo what our administrator said with our Citizens Academy class. It was a great class. I got to go attend a couple of them, and it was amazing to see when they went in their opinion versus when they finished the class. And we got to talk to them today, and I learned a lot from them. And just for anybody who'd be interested in a future Citizens Academy course, just as this class that just graduated, we've had 2 officially as of tonight that have been appointed to one of our boards or commissions. So they're getting involved a step further. So it's been a great addition to the county. So thank you to everybody that has done so. Anybody else want to share anything? I think we've been here long enough. Thank you for everybody for
Move
being
we
here.
adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed? We are adjourned.